personally witnessed NDRC, Guangdong provincial government, and Hong Kong government and Macau government jointly signed this deepening cooperation in order to promote the regional construction and also to further enhance the regional growth. There are some highlights as following. First is the guideline of the Hong Kong-Macau growth have been basically finished. And second, most of the major infrastructure projects are stepping up. Just now you mentioned the Hong Kong-Zhuhai Bridge has been basically accomplished, and also the highway from Shenzhen to Hong Kong also have been finished, and the highway from railway from Shenzhen to Hong Kong has also been finished, and some railways are under trials and pilot programs. It is approved that the Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Hong Kong railway projects are under implementation. And third, the conditions for these three regional people and communication and for the resources exchanges are under close research and negotiations, and there will be more favorable conditions for the Hong Kong people to study and live in Chinese mainland. For example, the Guangdong provincial government has implemented the going out and favorable policies for people in Chinese mainland and Hong Kong. And the Guangdong and Hong Kong and Chinese mainland has cooperatively working on the scientific and technological innovation in order to coordinately promote the modernization of the industry, also to further strengthen the Belt and Road Initiative construction. Also for some infrastructure platform, these three regions have made efforts and yielded primitive fruits. And next, for this area, there will be more favorable conditions and it will be proceeded in great order. We keep priority to the Millennium Development Goal in terms of industry, transportation, ecological, environmental protection, and others. And for this area, we need to cover every corner. And next, for the consensus or for other infrastructure projects which can meet the demand for Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau region, we will contact them and step up with this. And third, for the people-to-people exchange and logistics and also capital flow, there will be new mechanisms and negotiations. We will step up with this in order to see pragmatic results soon. Fourth, the Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau regional development is a vital program and strategy. We need to timely solve the problems emerging during this process and coordinate them. Fifth, we will further advocate all walks of life from the society, and we welcome joint efforts in order to make this Guangdong, Hong Kong, Macau region to be an international standard cross-border region.
Now let's welcome the next minister. 国家卫生和计划生育委员会李斌主任来到台前，感谢李主任。
Director of National Health and Family Planning Commission, Mr. Li Bin. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you so much for your long-term support to the National Health and Family Planning Reform and our work. I'm very glad to take your questions. With Agriculture Daily, since the 18th CPC National Congress, disease problem has been a biggest obstacle in terms of poverty alleviation. What kind of measures would we taken? Thank you for your question. Poverty alleviation should include health development, because President Xi Jinping has already given a remark that we should definitely develop hospital and healthcare sectors so to alleviate all the poverties due to disease, and that is all accord to humanitarian sense. And we will definitely begin in line with the spirit of the Central Committee, and important achievement has been made. First of all, we differentiate different conditions due to different cases. We have conducted research household by household, and 6.7 million households have been included and registered. We will have a targeted poverty alleviation strategy, household group by group. First of all, the crucial diseases, including cancer of kids, will be our top priority. Second, regarding to diabetes and other chronic diseases, the treatment for those diseases will also be enhanced. Up till the end of 2017, we have already treated around 2.2 million patients, and we have helped a lot of patients out of poverty line. Second, we will reduce their economic burden. We will have favorable policies for those people who live in under poverty line. For example, we will increase the benefit for their social security account. And for those checked-in patients, we will treat them first and then ask them to check out and pay for the treatment fees later. And also, we will have supplementary social securities for some crucial poor people. And for the poor households, individual members' disease treatment rate has been reduced around 22%. We will also enhance our capability building in hospitals, especially in third-level county hospitals and also hospitals in the poor counties. We will have one-to-one help and also help build their special department. We have already assigned more than hundreds of doctors to those poor county hospitals, help to train their doctors and also transit skills. In addition to that, we also have established a remote treatment system. Therefore, for some people who live in remote areas can also have the support and service from some big and famous hospitals. Currently, we are entering into a crucial stage in terms of poverty alleviation battle. once you get a disease, it is very difficult for people to anticipate and also to live out of poverty. And we should always surround the basic health care and to ensure the fundamentals of basic care, also to further improve the targeted poverty alleviation measures and strengthen our effort. First of all, we should construct and also the long-term prevention mechanism of poverty due to disease. We will increase our standard of social security account in rural area, and specifically the number is 40 RMB, and most of the social security accounts volume will be used into crucial diseases. This year, the special transit payment has been increased by the central government. The total volume is around 2.2 billion RMB. Also, we will increase the hospital ability level in terms of treating the poor patients. We should also increase our abilities in treating the crucial disease. For example, breast cancer, lung cancer, we will increase those diseases into the crucial disease list. Following by that, we will continue our effort in the treatment of chronic disease from kids and women. Therefore, we will also have one register for one household and have a targeted treatment for the poor household. Later on, we will also strengthen our treatment ability in key disease and key areas, and so to further push forward the role of health in poverty alleviation. Also, we will put the specialist ability construction as our core. Also, we will have a GP department in the rural area, and that will be the focus of our work. We will further revolutionize the ability of the baseline doctors.
We will adopt new policies to promote and retain the talents at the grassroots level. At the same time, we will enhance the investment and improvement of the infrastructure in remote areas for them to develop their talent and ability. During these two sessions, many deputies and members gave suggestions on the poverty alleviation through health insurance. We've absorbed many of them, and we did research. Hereby, we welcome more social organizations and volunteers, and the charity funds can join us to proceed this poverty alleviation through health. I'm convinced through the joint efforts we can promote the poverty alleviation through health, and we can fight the battle against targeted poverty alleviation. Let's welcome Minister Chen Lei from Ministry of Water Resources. Thank you for your support and concern to China's water resources work. I'm delighted to take your questions. Xinhua News Agency. My question is, as we all know, the key top priorities in China's water and lake reform are undergoing. So what progress and achievements we have got? Some people say here lies formalism. And how can you achieve concrete results? Under the leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, in the year 2017, President Xi addressed on the New Year's Eve and mentioned in the future every river has to have the river system and which should be more strict. The State Council have published the suggestions on this river policy, and we did research and coordinate with relevant departments. The local governments and party committees also participated in and made targeted implementations. Now, the comprehensive implementation of this water relevant policies have been implemented in 22 provinces. And there will be 6 more provinces under the Xinjiang Autonomous Region will join in this river chief system. Nationwide speaking, the country has precisely included 320,000 river chiefs. There are 55 provincial leaders who are also taking the role of a river chief. Through levels of a river chief and under the leadership of the levels of a river chief, there will be special acts to dissolve the river problems in order to safeguard the management system. The river chief system has yielded concrete results. Many rivers in the past were responsible, received no responsibilities from the local leaders, but now the local leaders are also governing and responsible for these rivers, and the rivers witness tremendous changes and improvement, and the whole society is protecting our rivers. The appearance and the situation of the lakes and the rivers are improved greatly. Just now, we also mentioned at some local levels, the procedure of promoting river chief system may have problems. This is often happened. And last year, we conducted 3 times of inspection, which covered more than 1,000 prefecture-level counties and cities. The local government has carefully upgraded the policy and adjusted their efforts. And this year, we also will conduct inspection tour to local levels. Last year, after the 19th CPC National Congress, the in-depth reform of the CPC Central Committee has firstly offered the guidance to river chief system. And the suggestions have been publicized by the State Council Office and also communicated and work hard with the local governments nationwide. The river area in China, for 1 square meters, there are over 2,800 rivers have the established river chief system. In future, we will step up with the river and the lake chief system to make sure by the end of July we will comprehensively cover this river and lake chief system nationwide to make the river and lake more vigorous in order to benefit the Chinese people and Chinese nation. That's my answer. Thank you.
With Hubei Radio, a lot of flooding happened in Hubei province. I'd like to ask about the situation about anti-flooding, especially in Hubei province, and what kind of measures will we take in China? This is a heated discussed topic. For over consecutive 3 years, I answered this question. With the global warming impact, extreme climate happened a lot and very frequently, especially last year and the year before last year, in the Yangtze River, Zhujiang River, etc., all flooded. This year, from our prediction, the total landscape of Met is in general a little bit bad, and we predict that flooding can happen more frequently. Also, there will be more hurricanes, and the influence of those hurricanes will be relatively large. This year, there will be 2 lines of precipitment in the south and the north. In the south, it will be in the south of the Great China, and also the regions around Tai Lake, and also along Yangtze River will have more raindrop. For the northeast area, also the middle region of Yellow River can also have some relatively big flood. Also in Jianghuai, Huanghuai, as well as the west of northeast region, there will be some drought. Spring drought can happen in north area. For this year's work in anti-flooding and anti-drought, we have already made some arrangement. After the 2 sessions, we will have the first plenary meeting, and to have further deployment, we will stick to people-oriented strategy, and we will consider the worst scenario and try to strengthen our effort in anti-flooding and anti-drought work, and try to prevent and take decisive measures in those areas, so to safeguard the lives of Chinese people, and try to lower down the costs and loss of those natural disasters, so to make our people satisfied.
Director of State Administration of Industry and Commerce, Mr. Zhang Mao, welcome. I'm from Economic Daily. My question is, this year's government work report stressed to narrow down the period of trademark registration, and many enterprises are worrying about this also. We are wondering what concrete measures will State Administration of Industry and Commerce take? Thank you for your question. This is a vital question. In the government work report, Premier Li stressed this, so we can see it's of the great concern from the society and enterprises. With China's commercial reform and the improving awareness and consciousness of intellectual property, we are stepping up with the process for trademark registration. Last year witnessed 5.70 billion of trademark registration with 5% growth, which accounts for 80% of the world's growth. So you can see there are great pressure and a burden for the trademark registration work. And last May, according to the trademark law, the period and the cycle of it's less than 8 months, but we narrowed it to 8 months last year. But 8 months are still long to the enterprises. So this year we will continue to working hard and to give priority to this circle narrowing, and we will continue to liberalize the spirit and to improve our efficiency in order to serve the enterprises in a better way and to improve the convenience of trademark registration. Second, we will utilize technology in order to serve the convenience of trademark registration. We will open the online access to trademark registration. Actually, online registration has accounted for more than 80%, but we will continue to increase this number. And for the inspection of the trademark, every time it takes time to comparing with the other trademarks. And now we are negotiating with the advanced technological enterprises in order to take full use of big data and information technology in order to solve this comparison problem. And third, we will enhance management in order to streamline the process, the procedure of trademark registration. And through the above measures, this year we will make sure to narrow the 8 months of registration time to 6 months. In this regard, we can solve the concerns and echo to the concerns of the enterprises. Next, we will further our efforts and further narrowing down this process. This year, it will be narrowing down in a greater manner. We hope to offer convenience to the enterprises, and in order to accomplish the mission led by the government work report.
With China Elite paper. In the government work report, Premier Li said we should enhance the foreign investments and streamline the registration of foreign enterprise. What should we do to implement that requirement? This is an important question of improving business landscape, and we will definitely believe that the Premier Li Keqiang attached great importance to the business environment. Last year, the number of foreign enterprises has been increasing, and there is a procedure that the foreign enterprise should get a record in the authority. And we have already coordinated with the Ministry of Commerce to try to tackle the obstacles in terms of streamlining the procedure. And we will combine the licenses into one. For example, the business license will be combined with other licenses. So if you want to apply for those licenses, then you will only need to fill in one form rather than multiple forms. We also did some preparations and some information construction work. In the 1st of July this year, we will have a centralized implementation of those systems, and some areas like Beijing City and Guangdong Province have already pilot projects. And our requirement is to have an all-round launching of this system by the 1st of July, so to reduce the burden of the enterprises to get registered, and also shorten the time for them to enter the market. We will make the foreign enterprise to have an equal status with the domestic private enterprises. I'll also like to make an announcement, that is, as the reform and opening up of China, there are more and more main body of the market in China. For example, the enterprises, the number of that has increased a lot, and it is estimated that at the 16th of this month, the main body in China, including enterprise and individual entrepreneurs, as well as corporates and collaterals, will total around 100 million. This is some information I think you might be interested in. And the micro main body has developed further. That will create more and more employment and help the transition of our economy, as well as keeping our economy in a dynamic way. And it will also help our quality economic development. Thank you.
Let's welcome the next minister.
我们银监会郭树清主席来到台前。去年郭主席在非常匆忙中答了大家2个问题，今年我争取让他多答一个问题。好，感谢。
The Banking Regulatory Commission. Dear friends from the press, good afternoon. It's almost evening. I will take your questions directly. I'm happy to meet you here. From Caixin, my question is, last year, the CBRC has worried about the burden to real economy, and this year, are you considering to ease the policy, and what the direction of the reform? Last year, under the leadership of President Xi Jinping and the CPC Central Committee, for the banking sector, we've did some reform, especially for the chaotic problems and make up for the shortcomings, especially for the financial products, which yielded good results, and also for the asset and debt, which are decreased greatly, and the growth of financial products increased slowly. We've tightened the off-balance business. And we also stopped and cancelled some business. And for the trustee loan and accredited loan, they also witnessed decreasing. So the business in the banking industry have been improved. So how the banks can serve the real economy? We shouldn't hurdle the real economy while we are controlling and solving the problems. This is difficult. How to strike a balance between problem solving and serving the real economy. For the loan issued to real economy has increased the 12.6% and reached 4 trillion yuan. So what's the background? The banking asset has only increased by 8.7%, but the loan issued to real economy, especially for the small and micro-sized economy and for the rural areas related enterprises, have increased greatly. And for the loan to manufacturing industry, it also reversed from the negative growth to positive growth, and there also witnessed an increase in housing loan, which increased by a lot. And the banking industry contributed to China's economic growth last year. I'm from Qilu Evening. The Central Committee always highlighted the reciprocity economy. So how can the financial institutions solve the problem of the difficulty in lending loan? I've been working in Shandong for 4 years, so your paper is very familiar. Inclusive finance is highlighted by the Central Committee of the CPC, and we are required to set up concrete plans and measures. Especially last year, the State Council adjusted the big and medium-sized banks should set up the departments for inclusive finance, and to especially conduct assessment for these departments. And for the shareholding banks, they also have the special inclusive finance department, which witnessed a smooth development. By the end of last year, 185 branches of the top 5 banks nationwide have set up the inclusive finance department. And for the village coverage, it has reached 96%. And for new village, it also surpassed 95%. And there are special personnel who are in charge of inclusive finance in different levels of governments. There are still many things remain to be done. We will continue our efforts. And you also mentioned the difficulty in lending loans. We are aware of that. We are exploring. The top 5 national banks are working hard and making explorations, like we adopt big data and internet to explore new ways of loans. For the Bank of Construction, last year it lent loans to 140,000 small and micro enterprises. And there are also online banking that's also adopted by the Shenzhen Weizhong Bank, who have tens of millions of consumers who are using this online banking system, we see positive achievements led by Internet. Internet really serve the inclusive finance, especially for the small and micro-size enterprises.
I'm with China Economy Net. What will the banking industry do in terms of fighting the crucial battle of poverty alleviation? There are actually more than around 10 ministers talking about this topic the other day. Regarding the crucial battle of preventing financial risk, banks play a vital role. For us, we should firstly lower down the leverage rate, and also that include both the corporate leverage rate and also government leverage rate, as well as household leverage rate. In this regard, we do not have sufficient awareness of that enough. For the households, their leverage rate will increase due to their usage of mortgage loan and using loans to buy car. So we believe deleveraging is of great importance in our work. For example, for the enterprises, we should have some M&A restructuring and also debt restructuring. There are all sets of measures that can be taken. Second, it's about the disobey of regulations. I also encourage friends from the press to coordinate with our work to improve the awareness of financial knowledge. We need to improve their awareness of preventing financial risk and also preventing financial frauds. For example, if there is this program claiming that the wealth management product can have a high interest rate, high profit rate, as well as guarantee the price, then that is definitely a fraud. Also, when you see an advertisement of wealth management product, currently most of these kind of advertisements are broadcasted by the media, and that can definitely harm the people in the rural area and also the elderly, the vulnerable group. I believe that we need to have the participation of media to help the general group to increase their awareness of financial risk prevention. Thirdly, we should also continue our effort in tackling shadow banking. For example, the off-balance sheet operation, intersect financial risk, etc. Apart from that, trust is also a weak point. Internet, online finance is also another weak point. Thank you.
Let's welcome Director from Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office of the State Council. The floor is open for questions. I'm from Takong, Hong Kong. I'm asking a question of where Hong Kong journalists is concerned. It's about the self-independence and self-governance of Hong Kong people. What's your take on this? And will the Central Committee change the policy over Hong Kong? Dear journalists, good afternoon. Firstly, I want to express the Central Committee's attach great importance to Hong Kong affairs, and we are concerning the comrades and compatriots from Hong Kong and Macau greatly. This year, in the New Year's address and the meeting for Spring Festival, President Xi twice addressed and mentioned Hong Kong and Macau and sent his New Year's greetings to people in Hong Kong and Macau. Just 10 days before the Spring Festival, President Xi talked about Hong Kong affairs for 3 times, including for the National Executive Master's commemoration, and for the new elections, for the car accident commemoration, and also for the youth of and the teenagers team. So Hong Kong's letter, he replied to the letter. All of these echoed and showed President Xi's last visiting to Hong Kong to celebrate the 20th anniversary for Hong Kong's back to China. There was one sentence he mentioned: the development of Hong Kong is always in my mind. President Xi greatly concerns Hong Kong people and Macau people. That's also our motivation to develop and interact with Hong Kong and Macau. You just asked about Central Committee's guideline on Hong Kong and Macau, whether will it change or not. This is a traditional topic. If we say 30 years ago, Mr. Deng Xiaoping just initiated the one country, two systems, Hong Kong and the international community may had confused thoughts. But now, after 20 years of Hong Kong's returning to China and 19 years of Macau's returning to China, the reality and history have proved everything. The one country and two systems is an unprecedented policy which have achieved world-known results, and also won people, including Hong Kong and the Macau people and the whole China support. President Xi once said, because the one country and two systems are successful and are upheld by the people, why shall we change it? You may have noticed in the 19th CPC National Congress report, it stressed the one country, two systems and the promotion of reunification of China. That's one of the basics of the 14th points of socialism with Chinese characteristics. This means it's the long-term policy. So for the central government, in its way to implement the one country, two systems, it shows strong and undoubted promises and determination. Just now you also mentioned Premier Li's government work report, which hasn't stressed the one country, two systems and self-governance of Hong Kong and Macau. Just 12 digits were missing. I also noticed some questioning from the Hong Kong and Macau people. There are maybe 3 concerns behind this. First, for logics, the one country and two system is a comprehensive principle which includes the Hong Kong people govern itself and Macau people govern itself. And second, for the current reality in Hong Kong and Macau, the top priority should be the understanding and implementation of one country, two systems, which needs to be precise. And third, that's to save the content, because there are numerous important subjects in the government work report. So this also helps streamline the government work report. I'm from Zhongping. We all know the State Taiwan Office and NDRC has jointly publicized the 31 measures for Hong Kong and Macau. And are there similar measures for the central government to release to Hong Kong and Macau? I noticed by the end of last year, the State Taiwan Office and NDRC released the 31 points to promote Taiwan and Chinese mainland relations, which was attracted and echoed by the society. The 31 measures are mainly according to the cross-strait economic and cultural exchanges and other demands of Taiwan people. This document itself does not apply to Hong Kong and Macau, but the spirit of this document and its direction of policy goes in accordance with the Central Committee's support to Hong Kong and Macau. Also, some of the policies in these 31 measures are also appropriate and are already implemented in Hong Kong and Macau. We also publicized and exposed the convenient information and opportunities for Hong Kong people for their living and employment in Chinese mainland. We also include the employment in Chinese mainland for the Hong Kong and Macau people. They can have equal opportunity and they can have equal social security, social insurance with the people in Chinese mainland. This has been released and included, especially for the housing insurance, which is of great concern for the Hong Kong and Macau people. Next, the Central Committee will take more concrete measures, but it's not convenient for me to tell you now, but I'm confirmed with Hong Kong and Macau's involvement to China's national development strategy and with the in-depth communication between Hong Kong, Macau and the Chinese mainland, the Central Committee will offer more convenience and support to the people from Hong Kong and Macau to Chinese mainland. including some policies which can also adopt the pilot program in the Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Macau regional program. We are convinced our compatriots from Hong Kong and Macau can not only share the results and fruits of national development, but also can enjoy the common development and prosperity with the people in Chinese mainland. And Hong Kong and Macau will receive more reciprocity policies. President Xi also stressed the family dream into the Chinese dream.
With Renmin Zhenxue Wang, currently people in Hong Kong and Macau attach great importance to the bridge between Hong Kong, Macau, and mainland China. What kind of plans in the schedule of the construction of that bridge? The construction of that bridge is within the plan of construction of Greater Bay Area. The construction of that Greater Bay Area is included in the government works report and also in the plan of the 19th CPC National Congress. Later, we will also launch new measures in the construction of the Great Bridge. This is a national strategy. This morning, when I attend the seminar with the Cantonese delegation, I met with President Xi Jinping, who also attend this seminar in person. According to President Xi Jinping, the construction of the Greater Bay Area is an important major strategy from the Central Committee, and he reiterated that the Guangdong province should grasp the major opportunities of the construction of the Greater Bay Area and also coordinate with Hong Kong and Macau in the construction work, and also build this area into a world-level city cluster. President Xi Jinping also required that the three regions should have a closer coordination with each other so to fulfill this task jointly. He also mentioned that once this Greater Bay Area is completed, we will achieve a huge result. At that time, everyone at present was deeply encouraged and felt very excited. Later on, we will go in accordance with the plans from the Central Committee and have a detailed deployment of our work, and also based on the regulation and policies, we will adjust and also improve the innovation reform of our institution so to enhance the talent, human resource, materials, investment, and also capitals, communication, so that to have a full integration and reallocation of the resources in the Greater Bay Area. We believe that will create a synergy in the Greater Bay Area. For example, Hong Kong is an international hub in finance, healthcare, service sector, and also it has a strong international link. We can combine its strength with the industrial strength of Guangdong province together and build up a world-level technological innovation hub in the Greater Bay Area, and we will establish a modernized industry system that incorporates and benefit all of the citizens in the area, and we will construct a high-quality living area here. I believe with the wisdom plans of President Xi Jinping and also the strong support from the Central Committee as well as all of your participation in the Greater Bay Area, in not so long future, the construction of the Greater Bay Area will definitely be completed, and it can be a counterpart and be equivalent to the Bay Area in the U.S. The bridge will open up this year, and it will provide greater convenience in the connectivity of